Welcome back to What Makes. My name is Callie, and today we're going to be making banana chocolate chip cookies. So if you are a banana bread lover like me, then this quick and easy and delicious recipe is for you. These cookies are absolutely amazing and you're going to love them, and I can't wait to share this recipe with you. So let's get right into it. But before we begin, as always, please remember to subscribe, like, share, chat in the comment section, and follow me on social media for more recipes and additional content. So these are the ingredients that we are going to be using. I have some brown sugar, granulated sugar. I of course have some all-purpose flour along with some baking powder, baking soda. I have a couple of spices. I'm using cinnamon and a little bit of ground allspice. You could use all cinnamon. You could use a little bit of nutmeg. Just any kind of like warm banana bread flavors will do the trick. I also have some vanilla. Here I have some dark chocolate. What I like to do that I highly recommend you doing is I actually buy a bar of dark chocolate and I just roughly chop it up. And that way what you get are some larger pieces of chocolate than what you would get from chocolate chips, and even some kind of smaller pieces, and I think it's really delightful. However, you could also use just dark chocolate chips. Use what you have. I'm actually using a combination of the two today. So I have some salt, I have an egg, melted butter, and of course I have one banana. The uglier and the older the banana, the better, as always. So let's get right into it. First things first, I'm gonna grab all of my dry ingredients, so my flour, baking powder, baking soda, my spices, and to this I'm going to add some kosher salt, of course. And just give this a quick whisk until all the ingredients are nice and incorporated. Okay, this will just take 1 second. Okay, great. Okay, so next up, we're gonna grab both types of sugar. To this, I'm gonna throw in my melted butter. I love using melted butter or brown butter. Brown butter would actually be really wonderful in this recipe as well. In cookie recipes, the melted butter actually lends to a more chewy texture, which I prefer in a cookie. So that's why I'm going to be using that in this recipe. So just give this a little bit of a stir. And you might notice when you go on my website and you read the ingredients for this recipe that I'm using slightly less sugar. We're still using a lot of sugar, let's be honest, but less than what I would normally put in most cookie recipes, and that's because you're gonna get some sweetness from the banana, of course. So if you notice that, just stick to the recipe. Trust me, there's more than enough sugar in these. Okay, I have some pieces of brown sugar I'm just kind of breaking up. Okay, great. So in goes my egg, and while we're at it, we can throw in the vanilla, of course. And just give this, again, a stir until it's nice and combined. Okay, so the egg is combined, but I'm actually gonna switch over to, in a second, I'm gonna switch over to my whisk. I'm gonna throw in the banana now, and I like the banana mashed, you know, really finely. I don't really like any kind of like pieces of banana so much in the recipe. So I'm just gonna give this a good stir. And you know what, like I said earlier, this really is a super quick, a super easy recipe. And I mean, everyone loves banana bread, but this recipe is, you know, a little simpler, I think, than that. So if you're maybe new to baking, or you know, you make banana bread all the time, you want something a little bit different, this is the perfect recipe for you. And it is, I promise, just as delicious. So next, I'm going to throw in my dry ingredients. And of course, like I said, with all my other ingredients, just give it a stir until it's nice and combined. Okay, this is looking good. So in go the dark chocolate chips. And if you, for whatever reason, don't like dark chocolate, I love dark chocolate. I use it all the time. You know, you could use semi-sweet. You could really use any other kind of chocolate if you so choose. And I am reserving just a little bit of the chocolate to add on top of the cookies before they go into the oven. Optional, highly recommended. So that's why I didn't add all of them into the batter at this point. So next, what I'm gonna do is the hardest part of the recipe, which is I'm going to stick this into the refrigerator for about an hour before I bake up these cookies. Okay, so an hour later and we're back. My dough is nice and chilled. So here I have a baking sheet lined with parchment paper, and to this I am going to add just some dollops of the batter, like so, leaving a little bit of space between each dollop, just for room for expansion. So I'm gonna continue doing this. My oven is nice and hot and preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Make sure that's ready to go. And here I have just that reserved chocolate that I'm going to place over the top. And again, optional, but it does kind of makes the cookie a little bit extra chocolatey, and who doesn't want that? So I'm gonna keep doing this, and then once I'm finished, I'm gonna pop this into the oven for about 9 or 10 minutes. And what you want, and this is the key to just the perfect cookie, is to underbake the cookie. And the reason for that is because once the cookie sits at room temperature, it's going to continue to set, and in that time, it's going to get to the perfect texture that's going to be soft and chewy on the interior and slightly crisp on the exterior. So bake, again, 9-10 minutes, let them sit for a few minutes, and then they are going to be absolutely perfect. And after that, I'm going to give you a close-up of just how absolutely amazing these cookies really are. Okay, so 10 minutes later, and you get these beautiful cookies, and I mean, look at this. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? Do you see the chocolate on this cookie? It is absolutely amazing. The texture is perfect. They are so soft. They're, I wouldn't say too cakey like I find some banana chocolate chip cookies tend to be. They're just the perfect amount of softness and chewiness, and they're just out of this world. And you saw how easy this recipe was, so there is no reason why you shouldn't make this at home. And like I said, if you like banana bread, this is banana bread in a cookie, and I can't wait for you to make this. So, as always, for the full written recipe and instructions, head to my blog, beautymakes.com. I'll put the link for that in the description box below. Click on the link, the recipe will come right up, and make these banana bread chocolate chip cookies. I promise you're gonna love them, and let me know what you think because I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.